Thanks for joining me. This is Matt from the Right Dice of the Round Table, and with me is another review of a board game. This one I am doing is Memoir 44. Again, another older game, Days of Wonder game. So I'm on a kick of Days of Wonder talks. I picked this up in a trade on Board Game Geek. I will tell you right now, my initial reaction about 2015, 2016, when I first played this game, it was high on my list to play again. We had Small World, I was enjoying Risk, and I'm like, oh, this looks really good, it's tempting. I have, if you know the game Battle Master, from when I was a kid, I have a copy of my original copy still downstairs in the basement, and I've played that a couple times. I'm like, oh, this is very much like that. And when I played it, I was just, oh. So it's 5 years later, and I still was like, there were some games I wasn't playing. I'm like, let's just give it up. Picked up Memoir 44 on a trade. I figured I want to give it another go. Well, it's years later. Let's see what my feelings are. So overall, you can print these. This came printed already in the trade I got. These are like cheat sheets on units. The person that owned it was nice enough to print the FAQ for it and throw it in the box. This is the rule book. This is going to be very important for you to have. This is going to be with you like almost all the time when you play, unless you play it so much that you haven't memorized. So I will say right now, this is an outstanding rule book. It gives you plenty of examples. The pictures are great, right on. It's very clear. And at the back, you're going to get all your scenarios. The base game comes with, I forget how many. How is it that many? 16. You get 16 scenarios in this book, and there's plenty of variability. If you want to play a tank one, there's a couple tank ones. There's not a lot. There's definitely several beach landings. They also have the scenario for the Overlord version where you need 2 base games too. I'm not talking about that. So it covers Arnhem. It covers all through the war, from early war to later, well, not early war, but mid-war, like 44, Pegasus Bridge, the beach landings. How many beach landings are there? There's Sword, Omaha, Ponte Hawk, three beach landings. And there's Liberation of Paris, Arnhem Bridge. A lot of classic fights are in here. So overall, this real book is outstanding. You're going to get a double-sided board. One is the beach landing, one is just green. That's multi-purpose versatile. You're going to get a huge stack of these tiles that are going to be your terrain on the board. You're going to get, let me get you to the box. Get a green army and a gray army. These are Panzer IVs with Pack 40s and German infantry and sandbags, and this is going to be your American Shermans and artillery. Each scenario is going to tell you what your force disposition is and what you're going to use, when, how, why. You're going to get dice. What is it, 8 dice? Yeah, 8 dice, which is great because you can take 4, your opponent can take 4, and very rarely will you ever roll more than 4 dice. On the dice is a tank, a star, hand grenade, a flag, a soldier, and a soldier. Infantry pictures kill infantry. Stars are special if you have a card that says something. This kills anything. This only kills tanks. And this makes them retreat a space. And again, there's sandbags, and the person who I traded this from gave the cheat sheet papers, but then you got cards that have your cheat sheet information. The part which is Richard Borg's mechanic that he uses a lot in some of his games are the cards. So it tells you the boards are divided up in sections. So there's a flank on each side and then there's a centerpiece. And the cards will tell you how many units you can move in each section. So that's all on the flank, all in the middle, 3 on the one flank. And then there's some other special cards like counterattack. I'm not going to get into all the cards. But you're going to have a hand of like 3, 4, or 5 cards. You're going to play a card, do it, and then you'll draw a new card into your hand. Turns are going to be relatively quick because depending on the card you play will dictate how many units you play and operate. Infantry don't move as far and their firepower lessens over time. Tanks move fast and have longer range for their dice attacks, and same for artillery. Artillery don't really move, but they have very long range. Let's see. Overall, that's the game. I play this usually with my son. So on the channel, there is a full playthrough of this with him. We did a video recording of this. Overall, I'm so glad I did trade for this again. The game, I don't know what it was, circumstances, who I played, I don't know. But I do enjoy this. We've been talking about expanding this maybe. I do want to get a little bit more plays with my son on a more regular basis, but he enjoys that card drawing mechanic and he enjoys tanks. He specifically asked us to do a tank scenario, and we did, and that played very interesting. I don't think this didn't play the way he thought it was going to, because his hand draws were just really rough. Because there's like cards in here that says tank assault, you get to move 4 tank units, and I got both of the game we had two of those cards played, and I had them both. So he had this massive tank force, I only had 2 Sherman units, and I got to play that card. So if he had it, it would have been a very different game. So this is a type of game I really enjoy because you have to figure out what you're going to do with what you got. And as I continue to develop as a gamer, and especially like in miniature games, that's what I like. I don't necessarily like the all scripted. I like working with what you got. So Memoir 44, definitely high on my list. I will play this whenever someone asks and see what the dice have in play. So if you haven't checked this out, you enjoy some randomness with a fog of war type of element on a board game that can be played in about 30 to 40 minutes, this is definitely high on the list. And if you really can, you can always play each side. That gives you about an hour and a half of play. I haven't done the Overlord part, but definitely enjoy this. This is a fun game. I still wouldn't rate it very high. I feel like when I'm done the game, there's just a dissatisfaction because when I look at the board, I feel like it's not done. There's more fight. Sometimes the one side's just obliterated, but sometimes I'm like, is that it? Maybe that was a tipping point in the conflict, but I don't feel like the battle's done. But that's my feeling. I still feel like there's just a little hesitancy. So I do give this like a 7.5 out of 10. So that is the one thing. I feel like sometimes it just doesn't quite finish as a game. So otherwise, check it out. Hopefully I'll be doing some how to play more in depth about this. But this is my thoughts. Thanks for checking out. Subscribe, like, and check you in another video. Keep rolling dice.